morning and welcome into your Wednesday edition of Hoops Talk with Dave. Wednesday, March the 12th, 4 days from Selection Sunday, 6 days from the start of the first four, and 8 days from the round of 68. And we have some incredible action to get to, including 4 title games last night and 3 title games tonight, including the starts of some of the major conference tournaments. We'll go ahead and head out west last night. The game of the day, Gonzaga, St. Mary's in the West Coast Conference Tournament Final. Gonzaga wins this one by 7, 58-51. St. Mary's had beaten Gonzaga twice on the season, unable to do so in this matchup. A very low-scoring affair, actually. St. Mary's was 0 of 16 from 3. That's right, 0 threes, 0 of 16. Gonzaga was only 1 of 15 from 3, 1 of 15. So the teams combined for 1 of 31 from 3. St. Mary's had 18 turnovers to Gonzaga's 4. Gonzaga had 20 points off of those 18 turnovers compared to St. Mary's 3, and Gonzaga won the game only by 7 points. So St. Mary's, you take away that you didn't make a 3. You didn't make a single 3 all game long, but you turned the ball over a lot. And this is usually a very efficient team, one that takes care of the basketball. I would not expect St. Mary's to make those same type of mistakes in the NCAA tournament, but great for Gonzaga. There was a point in time this year where they were really right on the bubble. There was a time earlier, really only about a month and a half ago, that they were sitting there really close to the bubble, and we didn't know if Mark Few was going to make the tournament or not. They clinched the auto bid. They're looking to be right at about a 6, 7, or 8 seed right in there. A couple of other finals last night. Delaware, the 12 seed Delaware in the CAA, their run comes to an end, unfortunately. What a great run for it. They won 5 games in 5 days, needed the 6th against UNC Wilmington. Unable to get it. The Seahawks of UNC Wilmington get the victory, 76-72. They will represent the CAA in the NCAA tournament. And over in the Northeast Conference, a great one here. Very back and forth at the end of the game. St. Francis, PA against Central Connecticut State University, a low-scoring one on CCSU's home floor. St. Francis, PA goes in, gets the victory, 46-43. They take a 16-17 record into the NCAA tournament. You can expect to find them in the first 4, I would say. You can expect to find them there in that first 4, one of those Tuesday or Wednesday games. This is a fun team to watch play. They've got some athletic guards. Of course, I think Central Connecticut would have had a better shot at upsetting a top dog, but St. Francis, PA went into Central Connecticut, earned that victory, and now they will represent the Northeast Conference. Over in the Horizon League, Robert Morris, the top seed in the Horizon League, tops Youngstown State. They claim their first Horizon League championship. 23 points from Jawan Maxey. Robert Morris was in control for the vast majority of this game. It got close towards the end of the first half, but really they held that lead throughout. They were favored by 3.5 points, won the game by 11, 89-78. And running through some first-round scores in some major conferences yesterday, Colorado taking down TCU, so any last-gasp effort that TCU had at an NCAA tournament bid is gone now. Colorado takes them down 69-67. And speaking of last-gasp efforts, Cincinnati, they're looking to make some here, 87-68. They beat the Oklahoma State Cowboys, sets them up with a massive opportunity against Iowa State today. Over in the ACC, California, Cal taking down Virginia Tech in double overtime. Talk about some chaos. They won that one 82-73 in double OT. Staying in the ACC, Syracuse takes down Florida State, and that will end Leonard Hamilton's career, the Florida State coach. He is retiring at the end of this season, and his season has come to an end. The Orange take down the Seminoles 66-62. Back over in the Big 12, UCF taking down Utah. Both of these teams kind of have last-ditch efforts for them. UCF able to get one here. I don't like their chances to make it. They would probably have to make the final to be able to have any type of at-large chance. But got to get the first one to get the last one. So they got the first one. The Knights beat Utah 87-72. And now getting into our games today. What a slate today. You are loaded up. We got games starting at 11:30 a.m. Eastern, running all the way until the last game tips off at 11:30 p.m. Eastern. That's about 14 hours of basketball for you. We're going to start with our finals today, our final games. Over in the Southland Tournament, one of the best mid-major schools, McNeese State, led by former LSU coach Will Wade. They take on Lamar in the Southland Tournament final. McNeese, 13.5-point favorite. Tip-off for this one, how about this? An afternoon tip-off, I love it. 5 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2. That's right, 5 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2, the Southland Tournament Final. At 7 p.m. on CBS Sports Network, the Patriot League Championship Final American versus Navy. And this is one that I'm proud to say that I have picked this championship correctly. My conference tournament brackets haven't been beautiful. They haven't been perfect. This one I was able to pick correctly. I had Navy and American in the championship, and I actually have Navy beating American in the championship tonight. Would love to see the midshipmen get this victory. American, however, favored by 3.5 points. Tip-off for that one once again, 7 p.m. Eastern on CBS Sports Network. And your final one, out west in the Big Sky, Montana, taking on Northern Colorado, 11:30 p.m. Eastern tip on ESPN2. So if you're staying up late, be sure to catch this one. The Big Sky Championship, Northern Colorado, 2.5-point favorites over Montana, the Grizzlies. And so that brings you finals at 5, a final at 7, and a final at 11:30 p.m. Eastern. 3 great finals today. Over into the SEC, the first round of the SEC tournament today starting at 1 p.m. Eastern. All 4 games are on SEC Network. So I'll go ahead and tell you that all 4 games are on SEC Network. Arkansas playing South Carolina. Arkansas 4.5-point favorites over the Gamecocks. And of course, the Gamecocks recently dominated Arkansas. They recently took them out to the shed. They beat them pretty good there. The Razorbacks need this victory to keep their NCAA tournament hopes alive. Not to say they'd be dead if they lost, I should say. They wouldn't be dead, but it would just be way tougher for them. They win this one, they can almost secure a spot. The second game of the SEC tournament today, Vanderbilt taking on Texas at 3:30 p.m. Vandy, a 1.5-point favorite over Texas, and Texas needs to string together at least 2 wins in this tournament. They need to beat Vanderbilt, and they need to beat Texas A&M to have any type of chance to get in the tournament. Their hopes are still alive. They're in the next 4 out right now, but they got to start today by beating Vanderbilt. The Commodores 1.5-point favorites. Over into our night game, 7 p.m. Eastern, Mississippi State taking on LSU. LSU not a great year for them at all. Not the year they were hoping to see in any way, shape, or form. They've already made plans to potentially up their NIL budget for next year. They'll need it, that's for sure, because this team is not what you want to see from the LSU Tigers. Mississippi State 8.5-point favorites over the Tigers. And our night game estimated tip-off for 9:30 p.m. Eastern, Georgia, Oklahoma. UGA favored by 3.5 points. Oklahoma really needs this win to be able to get in the tournament. Georgia does not need to take this loss, though, either. I think Georgia is pretty much secure in a tournament spot because even if they lost this game, it wouldn't be a bad loss in terms of opponents. But they're sitting right about on that 10 line right there. You don't want to see yourself fall to an 11, kind of run into some bid stealers, end up in the first 4 in Dayton. You don't want to do that if you're Georgia, so you want to go ahead and get this victory and get ready for the postseason. A couple of good ones during the day today on ESPN, targeting the Big 12 tournament. Cincinnati taking on number 12 ranked Iowa State, the Cyclones. Iowa State favored by 8.5 points. Tip-off at 12:30 p.m. Eastern on ESPN. And then at 2:30 over in the ACC, Notre Dame and North Carolina. UNC a 9.5-point favorite. Notre Dame beats UNC here. The Tar Heels can kiss their NCAA tournament hopes goodbye. If they win this game, they set up a matchup tomorrow against Wake Forest, which would be incredible to watch because the loser of that one would pretty much be done, I think. And the winner would pretty much secure a tournament spot also, I think. Both of those daytime games will be a fun one to check out. Looking at some games tonight on the slate, Kansas State and Baylor in the Big 12 championship. The second round, the Bears, 6.5-point favorites over the Wildcats. Baylor kind of hanging out dangerously close to that Dayton, that first 4. They don't want to lose to a Kansas State team that at one point was red hot. It looked like one of the best teams in all of America for about a span of 3 weeks. They are no longer that team anymore. Baylor needs to make sure they take care of business. This game tips off at 7 p.m. Eastern on ESPN+. And speaking of teams who want a chance on the bubble, SMU taking on Syracuse in our late-night ACC battle, 9:30 p.m. Eastern on ESPNU. SMU, the Mustangs, are 8.5-point favorites over the Orange. You lose to Syracuse here, you can kiss that NCAA tournament chance goodbye. I like SMU to take care of business against Syracuse, set up a fun one for them tomorrow, but they definitely need to make sure they do so to avoid any type of guarantee that they would be out of the NCAA tournament. And that will wrap up today's episode of Hoops Talk with Dave. I'm your host, Dave Smith. Hey, we are so close to Selection Sunday, so incredibly close to Selection Sunday, so close to the NCAA tournament. A lot of exciting stuff happening. Conference tournaments getting into full swing today. Exciting to see. Welcome to March, everybody. If you're just joining us, welcome into the greatest part of the greatest sport in America. Thanks for tuning in to Hoops Talk with Dave. I'll be back tomorrow morning to recap all the action and bring you a preview of some terrific matchups we've got on the slate tomorrow.